True Seekers, welcome back. Zach here. Today's May 13th, 2016. As of last night, the Western Conference Finals are set for the NBA playoffs. It will be Golden State Warriors and Oklahoma City Thunder. Earlier this year, I did a video on the two games between the Warriors and Thunder that took place in the same calendar week. The Warriors won both games with 121 points. In Gematria, Warriors equals 121. So does Revelation. Revelation is the final book of the Bible, the same book where the name Philadelphia comes from. And Philadelphia is originally the home of the Warriors. The Warriors, now in Golden State, originally from Philadelphia. The name Philadelphia comes from Revelation. Warriors and Revelation both equal 121. The Warriors defeated the Oklahoma City Thunder twice in the same week with 121 points. The second time they beat them, the Oklahoma City Thunder finished with 106, which is the number 4 prophecy. Revelation is a book of prophecy. As it happens, Prince, the musician, was at this game. The day he died, ESPN did a story on how Prince was a big fan of the Golden State Warriors the last few years, and this is the one NBA game he went to this year, on March 3rd, where the Warriors won 121 to 106. Real quick, I want to listen to this interview from Prince from years ago with Tavis Smiley. I want you to hear Prince say the word prophecy. Let's listen here for a moment.
Just tell me the whole story. I'll fill in the blanks, but don't tell me something that you think I'm supposed to know.
We're indentured servants and we got a black president now.
Well, I don't vote. I have nothing to do with it. I got no dog in that race.
And for those who would cuss me out and slap me in person if I didn't ask you why.
Well, the reason why is because I'm one of Jehovah's Witnesses, and we've never voted. And that's not to say that I don't think Barack Obama, President Obama, is a very smart individual, and he seems like he means well. Prophecy is what we all have to go by now.
Prophecy is what we all have to go by now. And I'm sure many of you have heard, the details have come out about how Prince, years before September 11th, was in Europe doing a concert, and he started singing that Osama bin Laden's getting ready to drop the bomb. Turned it into a nice rhythmic song. Anyhow, what I am trying to wake people up to is that this world we live in, it is planned. From news stories to history to even the sports games. And the same people are doing all of the planning, and they're using the same numerological code for all of it. It is the Freemasons, and they are using the book of Revelation as the playbook. Again, I have shown how all the sports leagues are scripted through these same numbers, often coming back to Revelation and prophecy. Right now, I'm writing a book. The book is going to be the best thing I've done by far to date. It shows how clear this history is from the beginning up to the present. And it's the same numbers coded again and again. The only reason I'm able to make videos identifying this is because I've been studying these patterns, and my original studies didn't start with sports. I was just sticking to history and news events. I realized it became undeniable that what was going on in the world of sports was directly connected, which makes a lot of sense if you're awake. The example of September 11th, think about how after September 11th, Tom Brady and the Patriots emerged out of nowhere. After September 11th, the Congress signed the Patriot Act. The next thing you knew, the New England Patriots were the greatest football team ever. All staged, all planned, all part of a big show. So sticking with this theme, I want to show you what was so interesting about the date of March 3rd in light of the date of Prince's death. The small way, Warriors and Revelation equal 49. The big way, Warriors and Revelation both sum to 121 like the winning score. From March 3rd until the date Prince died was a span of 49 days. He died 49 days later, this number of Revelation, this book of prophecy. We just heard Prince say how we have to go by prophecy. by spiritual text. I am not a Christian. I'm just a researcher. I'm someone searching for truth. I've come to understand these patterns by researching them and looking for answers and eventually finding them. I've been doing this work on the internet since 2013, but really the research started long before then. It just took me until 2013, more of than a decade of researching, to finally start to really put it together. And now with each passing day, I put it together more and more. This measuring dates by the calendars, it's all part of this coding system. Gematria, the practice of coding numbers into words, syncing words up with dates. It's all part of this ancient language. And our calendar, it's called the Gregorian calendar. Look at this. Calendar equals 58, Gregorian equals 58, Freemasonry equals 58. It's the Freemasons responsible for all of this. Prince died 47 days before what would have been his 58th birthday. 47, a special number, a number connecting to time. The first NBA championship won in 47 by the Philadelphia Warriors. Where Prince died at Chanhassen, it's on the 44th parallel north and the 93rd meridian west. The reason these numbers are so interesting is because they're connected to time and prophecy. Saturn is the keeper of time. Saturn has gematria of 93. As it happens, Oracle Arena also sums to 93. Oracle alone sums to 54, having to do with future telling, prophecy. Remember how the Warriors' win streak at home ended at 54 games. Oracle alone equals 54. Oracle Arena 93 like Saturn. 44 has a lot to do with killing. The word kill equals 44. Prince died on the 44th parallel, the 93rd meridian. These numbers come together over and over again in ritualistic sacrifice. This year, the Warriors, who play in Oracle Arena, are in their 44th year of being in Golden State. 44th season. Interesting, the parallels. Prince died in Chanhassen. Chanhassen equals 38. Minnesota equals 38. Prince equals 38. Death equals 38. Prince Nelson, his birth name, gematria of 144. Just like when you write out 44, it sums to 144, just like when you write out April 4th. All of this stuff interrelated. He was in Oakland. He had the fro out that night, possibly a tribute. I just want to remind you, 58 and Oakland. Oakland equals 58. Freemasonry equals 58. The Black Panther Party was established in 1966 by Huey P. Newton. Huey P. Newton equals 58. This year, Cam Newton became the 58th quarterback to start in a Super Bowl who's related to Huey P. Newton. Think about how he's the quarterback for the Panthers. A Black Panther symbolism. Huey P. Newton, his blood relative, established the Black Panthers in Oakland, not far from where the Super Bowl was played. In the original video on Prince's death, I was trying to talk about how him dying at age 57 on the day he died has all these parallels with sports championships. And now here we're talking about how he's connected to what is the Western Conference Finals championship, the winner of which will go on to the NBA Finals. Prince died on the 111th day, April 21st typically. The NBA Finals equals 111. He died 3 days after Kobe retired. Kobe retired on a date with 58 numerology. Los Angeles Lakers equals 58. Think about Prince's album Purple Rain, 58. Think about how he died in Minnesota, where the Lakers are originally from. The Lakers moved from Minnesota to LA. All of this stuff happening at the same time. Joe Jellybean Bryant, the father of Kobe Bryant, drafted by the Golden State Warriors. Remember, Kobe scoring his 60 points while the Warriors were breaking the Bulls' NBA winning record. Kobe from Philadelphia. Jordan played his last game from Philly. So many parallels. All scripted, all planned by the numbers. Here's Prince at the game, March 3rd, Oakland. Thunder Warriors, 49 days before his death. Warriors winning. Numbers of prophecy. Hopefully it's all coming together. Prince dead at age 57 in Carver County. Carver County has gematria of 57. Vanity died at age 57. When you write out the word 57, it sums to the same thing as championship. In the ESPN reporting of Prince's death on April 21st, doing this story, talking about how he was a fan of the Warriors, they brought up the point that he was, this master musician and could play the song While My Guitar Gently Weeps as well as any Beatle, as well as any musician. And I see what I need to put up on here on the screen for this to make sense to you, but notice the gematria of While My Guitar Gently Weeps, 322. This number connects to the NBA Finals. And again, it seemed like they were trying to tie in a riddle here with the world of sports in relation to Prince's death the day of. The NBA Finals equals 322. In simple English gematria, 111, April 21st, the day of his death, typically the 111th day of the year. Anyhow, they kept making this point about how good he was at playing While My Guitar Gently Weeps, seemingly kind of random. But it has this gematria 322, the reflection of 223, which connects to Oklahoma City Thunder. It also connects to Beatles. It also connects to Masonic. Again, it is the Freemasons running the show. The false Jews, the Zionist Jews, referenced as the synagogue of Satan in the book of Revelation, the book of prophecy, that said they will rule in the end times, 223. The date Prince was at the game, March 3rd. That's typically the 62nd day of the year. He died on the Queen's birthday, Queen 62, Mason 62, When Doves Cry. Mason, When Doves Cry, all of this having gematria of 62. Remember, the Queen turned 90. Prince had birth numerology of 90, a difference of 33 years. Prince George equals 57. He turned 33 months old the day Prince died. Prince, royal family. Tupac's mother would die shortly after, the day before Machiavelli's birthday. Machiavelli wrote The Prince. Tupac, her son, went by the artist name Machiavelli at the end of his career. Hope I'm communicating this clearly enough. With this in mind, while the Warriors were finishing up their series against the Blazers, new details came out about Prince's death that a doctor supposedly visited him 2 times. On April 7th and on April 21st, the day he died. They said the doctor's name was Michael Schulenberg, having gematria of 84 and 93, both special numbers connected to the nation. Prince's album Purple Rain came out in the year 84. Of course, he died on the 93rd meridian. Doctor, if you put the doctor in the front, Dr. Michael Schulenberg sums to 106 like prophecy. Don't make me play it again. Prince said we got to go by prophecy. And I'm telling you, prophecy. It's man-made, pre-planned prophecy that they're living out. That's why Prince is at his concerts years before September 11th singing about Osama bin Laden dropping the bomb. Dr. Michael Schulenberg, the big way, sums to 187, the homicide code. There's parallels here. It's reminding of Michael Jackson and what followed in his death. Michael Jackson died June 25th. George Orwell's birthday, the author of 1984. In history, Prince's album released June 25th, 1984, Purple Rain. Michael Jackson would die 25 years later on that date. A lot of the same coding in the death of Michael Jackson if you haven't seen my video on his death. So anyhow, them saying this doctor's from Oregon just fits the ongoing code. Oregon, the small way equals 38. Prince equals 38. Minnesota, 38. Chanhassen, 38. Graceland, where Elvis died, 38. They said his Chanhassen residence might become the new Graceland. Elvis and his mother both died at 42. Freemason equals 42. The word death also equals 38. Here they're bringing this narrative of this doctor who might have accidentally killed him. That's what this story, these details are starting to, project. But it's just all propaganda. Oregon's also the 33rd state. In simple English gematria, Oregon sums to 74 like Masonic. Oregon's the only state with a gematria of 74. Jesus equals 74. Cross equals 74. Jesus on the cross at age 33. Think about Oregon, the 33rd state. crucifix equals 93. On the topic of death and the number 44, killing, that game that Prince was at, Warriors and Thunder, before it was played, March 3rd, that was with 44 days left until the start of the playoffs. Prince would die shortly after the playoffs began. The Warriors came into that game with 54 wins, Oracle 54, playing at home. Again, it was the Warriors' 44th year of existence this season. Earlier in the year, Monty Williams, the coach of the Oklahoma City Thunder, had lost his wife at age 44 in a car accident. Aubrey McClendon, the part owner of the Thunder, had just died in a car accident. The Warriors were also going for their 44th straight win at home, and they got it that night. The game Prince was at. He died on the 44th parallel. Can't say it enough, you know. The message has to get home. All throughout history, people dying by the same numbers over and over, and no one catching on, and the people responsible getting away with it. And for all of you who say all these deaths are faked, very possible. It doesn't matter. Either way, the same people are responsible, the same information needs to get out, the same truth needs to be heard. But there it is, Monty Williams, the coach of the team who stepped away. His wife died at age 44. Kill equals 44. Williams, the name of him and his wife, 44. Car crash, gematria 44. Shortly after that story, the death of the owner in a car accident, very suspicious. After he was indicted with charges reminding of the death of Ken Lay, the Freemason, the Enron CEO, who died just before he was supposed to go to prison. This is the Masonic network and how they operate. Faking deaths, part of the strategy sometimes, you know. For a celebrity, it could be to escape the limelight. For a person such as Aubrey McClendon, it could be to avoid a life in prison, criminal charges. Another death, they say things come in threes. The third death that I'm aware of for the Oklahoma City Thunder was the death of the brother of Dion Waiters in Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love. And now think about this. The Oklahoma City Thunder, who Dion Waiters plays for, they're facing the Warriors, originally from Philadelphia. Earlier this year, his brother died in Philadelphia, and if you go back and watch that video, I pointed out, if we see a Warriors and Oklahoma City Thunder Western Conference Finals, remember these stories. You know, this research, I'm always learning from it as well. I have to document and see the patterns to realize, you know, how the system fully works. So we're all coming to understand this more and more by paying attention. His brother died on Morris Street, which had gematria of 38 and 47, 38 connecting to death, 47 connecting to time, connecting to the year the Philadelphia Warriors won the championship. Morris Street has a gematria of 59 connected to kill and Jewish gematria. Morris Street also sums to 131 connected to championship. And as I pointed out, this doesn't mean always that you're going to win the championship. It oftentimes means that you'll be a component of the championship narrative. Here they are in the Western Conference Finals playing for the Western Conference Championship. You know, could the Oklahoma City Thunder advance over the Warriors and surprise? Sure they could. They could also lose in the Western Conference Finals. We'll see what happens. The date of his death was March 8th, 3/8, a lot like 38. Died on Morris Street on 3/8. Date with 47 numerology as well as 27, 27. I'm sure many of you have heard of the 27 Club, number often surrounding death. Last night when Oklahoma City advanced, it was May 12th. Because it's a leap year, that's the 133rd day of the year. Oklahoma City advances to the Western Conference Finals on the 133rd day of the year. Oklahoma City equals 133. Notice they won with 113 points. That trademark Scottish equals 113, as in Scottish Rite Freemasonry, the branch of Freemasonry that has dominated the history of this nation, who runs the show. Scripted tributes again and again. I noticed that Tim Duncan, who just turned 40 years old April 25th, Tim Duncan was born the same year the Spurs joined the NBA. The name Duncan equals 21. He wore the number 21. Spurs equals 21. They have the giant U on their court, on their uniform, use the 21st letter. He has been the backbone of the team. He has brought them all their success in the time he's been there. He likely played his final game on San Antonio exactly 15 days after his birthday. And the reason I think that's interesting is because Tim equals 15. The date he played was May 10th, 5 plus 10, 15. It was the end of the 2015-16 campaign. You know, not the tribute Spurs fans would have wanted, but you can't be greedy. I mean, the Spurs have won more championships than most teams in the world of sports worldwide in recent history. So Tim Duncan, I think all the Spurs tributes that they were getting that I've documented on this video channel were truly for the Spurs being in their 39th year of existence and Tim Duncan being 39 years old. Remember, they started the season 39-0 at home. They lost in their 40th game against the Warriors. In that game, Curry had his 39th 30-point game of the season. Spurs, with the S exceptions, also sums to 39. Spurs equals 21 and 39 as well as 93. So Spurs go down to the Thunder by the numbers, setting up the Warriors and Thunder. Also, I want to point out what was interesting about the date the Warriors advanced over the Blazers. I predicted they would because it was May 11th. May 11th, a special day. After the game, ESPN was running this stat down at the bottom of the screen. And, you know, to me, this is the proof that these games are scripted to the point, to the minute, way further planned out than any of us know. You know, the runs we see in basketball, they're not natural. They're scripted. And for me, one of the biggest signs of how fake pro sports has been since I've been a child, you know, I've been telling people since I was 7 years old that pro sports are rigged. To me, it's just always seemed obvious. I grew up in Portland, Oregon. I remember watching the Blazers against Jordan's Bulls and how Jordan got away with everything year after year. Just watching every year as a kid, it just seemed too obvious. And nothing's any different today. The stars of the league, they always get away with murder. Anyhow, this 137 minutes, that's the 33rd prime number. Earlier this year, the Blazers blew out the Warriors 137 to 105 days before the playoffs started. Oregon's the 33rd state. For them to lead 137 minutes in the series, that just shows me this stuff is really scripted and planned out. They didn't do this arbitrarily. This is how they planned the series. These men are getting paid millions, just like actors, because that's what they are, athletic actors fulfilling the script. Just look at their body language. It's so obvious, you know. Those of us who play sports, we should know what it's like to be giving it all out on the field, on the court, you know. You look drained. You look dead. When you lose, you look devastated. These professional athletes, they look like they're, you know, fully rested. They look like they don't give a shit half the time. They're laughing minutes after they lose and are eliminated from these big games while the fans are crying. You know, and people can't figure it out. It's just a joke. Anyway, the Warriors advanced in the series 4-1 on May 11th. 33 connects to both Oregon and Golden State. Golden State, when they're written the abbreviated way, has gematria of 33. Golden State, the full way, equals 41. They just advanced over the Blazers 4-1. Joe Jellybean Bryant, drafted 41 years ago by the Warriors, 14th overall. Kobe Bryant equals 41. If you haven't seen all my work on Kobe, Joe Jellybean, the Warriors, you got to check it out. But these numbers, all important. At the end of the game, I saw this really suspicious camera move. It went to this fan in the crowd. It looks like a very tiny Asian man. I mean, look how small this guy is, you know? And he's holding up this sign, Steph, 131-0, never a doubt. And I don't know what this sign is in regards to. I don't know what Steph Curry's 131-0 at. But what I do know is how I've been reporting for, you know, since forever now, how 131 is connected to championship. When you write out 57, when you write out championship, when you write out Super Bowl, they all sum to 131. 131 and 57, numbers connected to championship. World Series equals 57. This man holding this very strange sign. And for the record, Asian equals 44. Again, the Warriors in their 44th year of existence Something tells me this guy was a plug in the crowd holding this sign up as a subliminal tribute. If someone wants to figure out what 131-0 is about, I'm listening. Curry, he hit the three at the end of the game to put it away. It was 118. This three made it 121, you know? Warriors equals 121. Earlier this year, I made a joke talking about how Steph Curry in the face looked a lot like Reggie Miller. After the game, they put up this stat that just made me go, you got to be kidding me. Most consecutive playoff games with a three-point field goal made, Steph Curry tied Reggie Miller at 44 games. You know? Reggie Miller had 111. Interesting. Remember, NBA Finals equals 111? Curry's at 178. Curry, like a video game, he just throws them up there. They fall in. For those of you who've written me countless times this year, all sorts of people are making this observation. This isn't something I had noticed myself, but I noticed it after this game. People talk about Draymond Green, the teammate of Stephen Curry. A lot of people say that something's up with this guy, his behavior's off. A lot of people think he's under mind control. I wish I had this recorded as a video. This guy was sitting here while Curry's talking, and maybe he's just not aware of his body language, but he was just sitting here while Curry was talking for a while, and with his left hand, he just kept like moving it like this. I don't know what he was doing with his hand, and his face just kept doing all these weird contortions. And I was like, what is going on with this guy right now? I mean, you know, who's doing that on TV? Just in front of the camera? I mean, I'm trying to imitate it. It was weird. So for those of you who've been observing that, good eyes, there is something up with this guy. And who knows? I don't know all that's going on behind the scenes with these athletes. A lot of you guys ask how they keep a lid on it. To me, keeping a lid on it's not hard because the media controls what gets out. They have everything on delay from radio to TV. Easy to have a stranglehold on the information that gets out in the public. And in the minds of the public, you know, for most people, they only see what's true as what's on TV. To them, that's, you know, the validation of truth. But, you know, maybe other things are going on. Maybe they got these people under some kind of weird mind control. Whatever was going on with this guy this night was creeping me out. Seemed like he wasn't present. Seemed like someone was controlling his body as if it was a remote control. But anyway, the reason I knew that the Warriors were going to advance for sure on that date, May 11th, Curry ended up getting the MVP on that day. It's because, let's see, where do I got it written at? Right here. Saturn in Jewish gematria equals 511. And Saturn, again, the keeper of time. All of this comes back to time. Saturn also equals 93, like Oracle Arena. They're playing in Oracle Arena on May 11th with a chance to advance. It was just so obvious that this was going to be the day. It's also, no doubt, the reason Curry got the MVP on this day. In history, Bob Marley died on this day of cancer by the numbers. Cancer equals 44, chemo equals 44, kill equals 44. When you write out 44, it sums to 144, like time in Jewish gematria. Think about how the square root of 144 is 12, 12 hours in the morning, 12 hours at night, 1,440 minutes a day, 12 months a year. After the game, they had this up, him and the daughter. Or actually, this was before the game. 44-second timer. Riley and Stephen both equal 33. Anyway, you learn these numbers. You learn that some things are just a lock sometimes. Predicting the Warriors over the Blazers in Oracle, not a hard prediction, but you see how it's all lined up. Just like how Oklahoma City advanced on the 133rd day when Oklahoma City equals 133. Advancing in Oklahoma City. Once the home of a bombing by the numbers, April 19th, 1995. So hold on, a couple more things here to cover. Earlier this year, also on the 44th day of the year, Lupercalia equals 44. Ancient Roman festival on the 44th day of the year. It's the date that Scalia died. It was also the date that there was a very suspicious earthquake in Oklahoma, a record 5.1. And what stood out to me was that it came on the 44th day of the year, earthquake in gematria, as well as Lupercalia. They both equal 44. And the date numerology was 51. It was a 5.1 earthquake on a date with 51 numerology. The word conspiracy equals 51. I talked about this in the video at the time where this took place on the 36th parallel, also the 98th meridian. Lupercalia, the 44th day of the year, also has gematria of 98. Last year's NBA Finals were all synced up with Lupercalia. They began 111 days after Lupercalia. Game 1 of the NBA Finals went to overtime 98-98. LeBron James had 44 points in the game. The game came 98 days after the Warriors and Cavs had last played in the regular season. So in light of knowing all that, when this earthquake happened, I said, remember this in case Oklahoma City ends up in the in the NBA championship, because 51 is the big number for Cleveland this year. Cleveland equals 51, Cleveland Cavs equals 51, LeBron James equals 51. It's been 51 sports seasons since Cleveland won a championship. If Cleveland doesn't win the championship this year, I don't think we're ever going to see that city win a championship again. But this happening on this date with 51 numerology, the 5.1, I just said, back then, and you can go back and verify it, if Oklahoma City Thunder ends up against the Cavs, just remember this. I think this was all part of the numerological tributes. And I know, as crazy as it seems, this really is what's going on in the world. Earthquakes by the numbers. The day Floyd Mayweather knocked out Pacquiao, or didn't knock him out, but won the fight, that day there was an earthquake corresponding with the name Mayweather in Mayweather's hometown. And I've documented little occurrences like this several times. The people running this world are insane. They have mad technological capability. They also have the ability to falsify reports in the media, change numbers, make them all sync up with their man-made prophecy. And on the point of this 51, something I noticed earlier this year, I should have took a better photo here. What was going on in the game is LeBron James was at the free throw line. He just shot his first free throw. Now they're doing the timeout, the substitutions. But LeBron James made the 100th point of the game in the third quarter with 3:51 left, taking a big lead over Atlanta. This is in the first round or second round of the playoffs. Think about it. 100 points this early in the third quarter is a milestone. What stood out to me was the time on the clock. 3:51 is a special number. So is its reflection, 153. At this point in the game, there's also 12 minutes left in the fourth quarter. So that means there's 15 minutes and 51 seconds remaining in the game. 15, the reflection of 51. 51, this big year, or this big number for Cleveland this year. What's up with 351 and 153 is also this. The word God in gematria equals 17 the small way, 26 the big way. If you add up every number 1 through 17, it sums to 153. If you add up every number 1 through 26, it sums to 351. Special numbers, numbers I educate about more in other videos, which you are welcome to listen to. The point to take away is these numbers are significant. Ohio is also the 17th state. Again, when you sum 1 through 17, it sums to 153. NBA has gematria of 17. In 1970, the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Portland Trail Blazers, and the Buffalo Braves, who are now the Los Angeles Clippers, joined the NBA, bringing the league to 17 teams. I don't think LeBron being at the line, knocking down this free throw with this time on the clock was any coincidence. I think this was one of those scripted tributes. Just wanted to highlight the emphasis of these numbers and how they show up in games that are scripted. So anyhow, this video, it's about bridging the world of sports rigging, news story rigging, celebrity sacrifice, how it all comes together. Talked about Prince, prophecy, being at this game that seems to foreshadow something to come. Just like how the day he died, I said dying on that date, typically the 111th day, with the age 57, a number connected to championship. I said, I bet you anything his death will be connected to the sports championships to come. Prince was in Super Bowl 41, won by the Colts over the Bears with Peyton Manning. You know, Peyton Manning just won a Super Bowl at the beginning of this year. Show you what's up with the Super Bowl before we close out here. Peyton Manning won the Super Bowl 74 days before Prince died. There was a big Black Panther Party tribute at the Super Bowl, something I predicted before it happened. Black Panther Party equals 74. Prince dies, and a corresponding amount of dates later, then this narrative comes out that he was at this game on March 3rd. Hopefully you're following what I'm saying, you know? It's a web of stories, it's a web of history, it's a web of tributes. It's all madmen, Masonic men fulfilling man-made prophecy. And Prince knows something about that. Again, why he was able to sing about September 11th before it happened. Why he's even hinting about that on Tavis Smiley. And eventually why he is dying by the numbers, you know? If he's even really dead. A lot of suspicious celebrity deaths this year, especially musicians. So that pretty much wraps it up, Truth Seeker. Until next time. Encore, an important point to make. Last year, May 12th, there was a Philadelphia train wreck. It was reported the train was traveling 106 miles per hour, the number of prophecy. Think about it crashing in Philadelphia, named after Revelation, the book of prophecy. As I pointed out last year, this train wreck was directly connected to the NBA Finals. This year, before the college basketball tournament began, I talked about how the Philadelphia train wreck was connected to the Kansas train wreck that happened the day before the college basketball tournament began. The day before the college championship, there was another Philadelphia train wreck. Villanova won the college just outside of Philadelphia. The train that wrecked in Philadelphia was this one right here. Notice the number 627. I want to show you something about that number in light of this wrecking in Philadelphia. Before we look at that, real quick, the train wreck was also supposedly at 9:23 p.m. 9:23 p.m. LeBron James, after the NBA Finals last year, would star in a movie called Trainwreck. LeBron James in Jewish gematria equals 923. The train wreck was also connected to the Catholic Church and the Pope's visit on September 23rd, the date that he took the White House lawn at 9:23 a.m. Lots of information. I have it all on this video channel to go back and revisit. A lot of predictive programming in that train wreck. But with regards to the number on the front of it, the train that was traveling 106 miles per hour, 627. Remember the number backwards, 726. Check this out. Revelation in English gematria sums to 726. What's our number here? 627, or in reverse, 726. Philadelphia, where the name comes from Revelation. Revelation Warriors, 121, 121. You know? The train wreck last year was connected to the NBA Finals. This year's train wrecks were connected to the college championship. Teams with Philadelphia connections won. Revelation, prophecy. So that truly is it, Truth Seeker. If you think this is all coincidence, I can't help you. Hopefully you're not one of those people. Until next time.